All right, everyone. This is our November Sitecore User Group Columbus session, and we are back with Barun and Chirag again. They're going to talk about CDP. This is the part 2 of their CDP session. Barun, Chirag, take away.
All right. Thank you, Himadri. Thank you, Maulik. It takes a hell lot of effort to organize such webinars and other events for the community, and I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for making sure that you're doing one event monthly, which allows participants like Chirag and me to present at the user group. So thank you for taking the pain in doing this. And now let me kick off the presentation. Hello, everybody. Well, this is the part 2, as Himadri mentioned. It's on implementing Sitecore Smart Hub CDP in, Sitecore XM and in Headless Next.js app. And yeah, so it's Chirag and me today. So Chirag, would you like to introduce yourself to everybody?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so this side Chirag. I have like around 10 years of experience in Sitecore, ranging from starting from Sitecore version 8 to the latest version, Sitecore 10.3. And apart from that, like I'm Sitecore CDP certified as well as Order Cloud and XM Cloud certified. And I blog at sitecorefoundation.in actively. So like I've blogged recently on the latest topics which are SXA headless. So all those topics I have been blogging at. Yeah, and recently I also won the Redis Lab hackathon, which was held a competition globally. Yeah, that's it from my side.
Thanks, Chirag. Um, I am Varun. I have around 13 years of overall industry experience, all of it in Sitecore, and 9+ years I have been at Horizontal. I've been a 4-time MVP in the past, and I am Sitecore and Content Hub certified. I am also co-founder of Sitecore User Group India, and currently a co-host of Sitecore Tech Talks podcast. I blog at blog.varunvns.in from last 12 years. And when I'm not doing anything in technology, I'm still doing technology by doing DIY, hobby work, IoT, or I spend time with my kids in garden, and I'm an avid gardener. All right, enough about us. Let's jump in the topic today. So we are going to mainly have just two topics in agenda today. One is we'll look at the implementation approach, because I think that is going to set the ground rules to make sure that how personalization and CDP should be implemented in any of our customer applications. And next we'll be looking at the use cases. Those use cases are kind of pretty standard use cases. I and Chirag, we are car enthusiasts, so we have taken, cars as our example to explain this. But these are very generic use cases which we can apply to any industry or any vertical for that matter. So, rightly jumping into the implementation basics. So when we want to implement CDP or personalize, what we need to know is we need to know the basic personalization tactics which we can apply. And these tactics are something, they are like personalization 101, and which can be very easily found even on Sitecore website, which they have talked about, which we are going to just look at it in a quick brief today. The users who are coming to our website, they need to feel that they are being welcomed on the website. Now, how is that possible? Of course, we can do something which is, which is location specific, which is regional, maybe regional website, maybe regional, some regional content, something like that. Next is recognizing our existing customers. Yes, I know you. Oh, you like this. I know that. Providing something which adds on the value It's as simple as, whenever we meet an acquaintance versus we meet a friend, right? So our gestures are different. It's the same for that particular customer, that we know the customer and we provide the information to that particular customer as if we know him, and we show that thing. Link the inbound traffic to the personalized experiences. Again, pretty standard. Our uh, personal experiences should be shown to that particular customer. We can serve location relevant content. This could be similar as in if somebody is passing through a given location in, say, United States, and they pass through some particular business, and then that business recognizes that this particular customer is passing through. They might say, what, we have a sale. Do you want to visit our store? Could be pretty simple, but still it is very, very important to gain that particular touch point of your user, that they know that, oh, you are also interacting with them when they are traveling. Treat them as VIPs. Give them some special something special. Next, make sure that their mobile is taken into account, because today we know that the traffic or the usage has moved more from desktop to a mobile device. More than 70% of people utilize mobile devices for their shopping. So that says a lot about our usage of a mobile device, and we ought to make sure our website serves mobile context, uh, specific to personalization as well as specific to the content. Next is leveraging the in the moment visitor behavior. There is no information available from your user, but just from the actions that your user or your visitor is taking on your website, you can personalize his or her journey, making them feel special, making that visitor a customer. We can also assign a score to our customer based on how that customer is interacting with her brand, and then we can put them in various sections or segments, and then somehow utilize them when we are launching a new brand or something. We can let them connect with social media, or we can connect with their social media accounts to track their what they are doing, how they are doing, and we can utilize that data. Next, mapping the customer journey in our application and deciding what is the next best action for our customers. Again, as I said, these things are available on the Sitecore website itself, which I've just mentioned in the source, and these kind of prove to be the ground rules for us to make sure that we are starting our personalization journey, taking these things into account. Let's begin with our use cases. So Chirag, you know what? Today I'm going to play the business leader. I have a business specific to a car website, and I have some use cases for you. Let me see if Sitecore CDP and Personalize can allow me achieve my business goals. Are you ready?
Sure, Varun. Like, yeah, I'm a technology leader here. So yeah, I think I might be able to help you on that.
All right. Well, let's say I have I want to have visitor specific personalization, wherein I have two specific cases, Chirag. I want location specific personalization, and I have some specific features in my website, and I want to have some personalization based on those features. Um, and next, I want to have an existing customer personalization, wherein I want to provide kind of a connected experience in cases whenever there is an offline to online interaction. And I want to maintain the customer score, and I want to treat them as VIPs, because then I want to also leverage that score somewhere else in my website. Um, let's look at each one of them in detail. All right. All
Sure,
right, so
sure.
let's personalize it for a visitor specific to a location. So I'm just another car company, all right? And because I'm a Mahindra car fan of SUVs and all, hence I I'm just taking that example. Um, you know what? I have a statistics overall that my dealers around India, they have found that in Gurgaon, Thar is selling the most, and in Vadodara, XUV 300 is selling the most. Now, generally, what happens is subconsciously, whenever you see something around you, you want to have it, all right? So, this is kind of a human connection with those things. Now, I would like to capitalize on this human connection and would like to promote Thar in Gurgaon and XUV 300 in Vadodara. So, Chirag, let me ask you, can I achieve this using Sitecore CDP and personalize?
Yeah, definitely. So Sitecore CDP has out of the box location capabilities, which basically it tracks it. So I have also prepared a demo for that. So let me
Mhm.
show it to you.
All right, let's have a look at it.
Sure. Yeah. So is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So here you can see like we have one of the websites in which like we have like the cars on the hero banner component, and there are some features which are like basically the particularly car features which we have, right? And then again, like we have a CTA component and then the footer component, right? So in this website, like what we have done is like we have a location based detection from CDP. So we have integrated this website with the CDP using the engage library. So if I just refresh the website, yeah, so here you can see now the hero banner, the component, the image has been changed, right? And you wanted to promote Thar, I believe, for the Gurgaon location, right? So it says
Yes.
automatically CDP has detected like my current location is Gurgaon, and if I have auto populated this drop down, and the image is coming for Thar, yeah. And similarly,
Yeah.
if another visitor comes from Vadodara or any location, right? So for Vadodara, he will get this hero banner image at the top, and the location will be Vadodara, and it will be XUV 300 will be visible to him. Since I am currently visiting from Gurgaon, so when I refresh the page, so it showed me the hero banner at the top with the Gurgaon Thar image. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah,
Yeah. Nice to know. I'm curious to know how this is built in, the Smart Hub CDP. Can you show it to us, Chirag?
yeah, sure. So basically, yeah. So as I told earlier, Smarter CDP has a flexibilities to track the location. So for that, we have created an experience. Yeah. Yeah. So since I am returning the dynamic data. So if you want to return the dynamic data from the CDP to the website, you need to work on the full stack experiences. So full stack experiences can be created from experiences tab and then the full stack. And here I've created the full stack hero experience for the hero banner. Yeah. So as you can see here, we have 4 tabs to configure. One is the API response. This basically is the dynamic JSON data which we are returning to the page to return the different text as well as images when the user visits from any specific location. And then the logic to detect the location is written in the decision model. So let me just first open the decision model. Hmm. Yeah, so here you can see like so whenever like you are creating a decision table, decision model, you should go from always from bottom to top. So this is a hierarchy we need to maintain as a convention in the Sitecore CDP. And the first of all, like we have a programmable in which we are getting the guest city. So this is the basically, as I told, like all the data related to guest are basically stored in the CDP. So it's in the guest sessions in which the data is maintained. And from that, we are basically returning the city and the country of the user. So this data, we are not feeding it from any external library or any other third parties. So that data of city and country is automatically injected into CDP whenever like you have integrating your website with the Engage SDK. So that city and location will automatically come in the CDP and that will be stored. So here basically I am retrieving the data from the CDP to return the city and country of the user. And then when the city and the country of the user is written, then I have created a decision table. In the decision table, you can see like I have added the conditions like whenever the city is Delhi or whenever the city is Gurugram or Gurgaon, right? Or it's Vadodara. Then I'm returning the offers. So basically the offers in CDP world is basically is you can imagine them as a data source, right? So let me just show you the offers, how we create that. Yeah. So here you can see like we have the title image to be basically the customized image which need to be shown, and the title and the link and the book now. So all the data which we want to personalize when the hero banner on the hero banner component when this condition is satisfied is basically coming from these offers. So basically we have created 3 different offers, one for Delhi, one for Gurgaon, other for Vadodara. Sorry.
No problem.
Yeah. So here we have basically the title, image, and the link, right?
So Chirag and Barun.
Yeah.
So this is coming from CDP, right? So what it means to the content creator, like they have to come to CDP to actually add the content. They cannot do that from the CMS itself.
Yeah. So we have approaches, right? One of the approaches, like as I told you, we keep the data in the CDP and change the data from there. Okay. So basically, we can create the different offers, right, and return it from the decision table, right?
Okay.
And another way is yeah. So one of the ways, like basically, we are finding the offers and returning it, right? And these offers are basically returned in the API response. So if I show you here. So that JSON data is getting returned in the from this particular web experience, full stack experience, and that data gets consumed in the at the front end head application. Right. The other
Okay.
way is like which we want basically we don't want to keep the like data sources as I told you in here, right? So one way more we have done. Okay. So in that way, like we have used. Let me show you. Yeah. So here what we have done is like again the same way, but city we are directing the same way, like using the programmable. But here like we have configured the IDs, right? Here the IDs of the data source items, whatever we have configured in the site code. Okay. So
Okay.
and using the GraphQL, we are fetching the data for this item IDs and displaying it on the website. So basically a mapping needs to be done from the CDP to which data source you need to map, right? So that mapping needs to be done somewhere in the decision table. It can be either done to the offers or it can be either done to the data source ID. And using this data source ID, basically we return it in the front end application, and then front end application can call the GraphQL to retrieve the data for this item. So basically we have called the GraphQL
Okay.
to fetch the item for that and personalize that.
Okay.
So
I don't want to hijack your demo.
No,
Let's
but this was a
continue.
great question. This was a great question, and we wanted to also display this or demo this as well. That there are two ways of doing it. One is that what we have currently applied is added offers and data which resides in CDP. But the second way also is, in our traditional Sitecore XP, we used to have a rule engine where we used to, configure rules saying if this is the personalization condition, this is the data source. So the same thing can also be done with CDP in our picture, wherein we can add that data source ID in these values, and then that goes to your, or that can be resolved through GraphQL, and the same can work as is. So
Right. This is
thank you.
this is the kind of the reason I brought it up is the kind of challenges that you face in the composable architecture, right? And from a marketer point of view, they don't want to go to three different systems to actually manage, because that requires learning different systems, and a marketer will be comfortable to stay inside core and get this data feed and make the decisions and things or configuration in the site core itself. I think that would be the ideal scenario, I guess.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. So yeah. So basically, yeah. So we have created both the ways to demo. So one of the ways was to map to the offers, which are the flexibilities provided in CDP, and another way is mapping them to the data source IDs. So both in both the ways, we have created a full stack experience and written the JSON data. And one more power of this is like all the data which is getting changed, right? So if I view source this page, it's basically SSR, right? So yeah, so as you can see, with even within the view source, the title and the description are changed. So it is not the one. It is not the one which was getting earlier displayed. So we have used SSR and use the personalization call flows APIs to change the data dynamically at the runtime, basically at the when the page gets rendered in the SSR, so that so that it is SEO friendly and it is like the page is ranked higher as well. Yeah, so this is one of the aspects we have also make sure like when working across this. Yeah, since because Engage SDK is a JavaScript library. So normally when we do plug and play with a JavaScript, so things get dynamically changed using the Ajax call and all those stuff, right? But in order to make this flexibility, the title and the description gets changed within the view source also. So we have used SSR to change those data. Yeah. So this is what's in and out for the uh, personalization point of view for the use case one, how we have delivered it. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you, Chirag. I think this works for my use case. Let's go back to the presentation and move ahead with the next use case. So, well, this was the use case that if somebody is from Gurgaon, they should be able to see Thar as their banner so that we can promote Thar in Gurgaon, versus somebody who is in Vadodara should be able to see XUV 300 because we wanted to promote XUV 300. Sweet. We are able to achieve this using Sitecore CDP and personalize. So overall, this is how it is implemented, wherein the Next.js app technically calls. Chirag, if you want to explain this, please feel free.
Yeah, sure, no issues. Basically, it's the same flow which I have discussed. So from the Next.js app, we call the personalized APIs or the call flows APIs using SSR, and then the call is made to Boxever. The Boxever is like the CDP dashboard, and first of all, like guest is checked against that particular audience filter. Like the first check is made on the Boxever side, like whether that particular guest who is visiting our website is satisfying the audience filter criteria which we have built. If it returns true, then only the decision model is called, the decision model which I showed you earlier, to fetch that personalized data. And then from that full stack experience, we return the JSON response. And Then again, that JSON response which gets returned from the box server, it's mapped in the layout service, and that guest sees the personalized experience. So this is how the flow goes end to end to personalize the any hero miner component or any component you would like to. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So the next use case is specific to some features. So Chirag, what I generally have is when I'm looking at various customers, um, I have seen that they face some challenge in selecting either the features or the cars. As an example, I want a sky roof, and then when I go to the car section or model section, I'm unable to gauge as a customer which car variant has sky roof. All right. So what I really want to do is if somebody is going to some features of the car and then they are going to one of the cars, I just want to give them a pop-up or some notification that because you looked at this particular feature, here is the car which gives this feature. I mean, this variant of the car which gives this feature. And I want to solve that particular difficulty that they are facing. Can we achieve this using Sitecore Personalize and CDP?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is one of the like common use cases in which like we have different variants for different cars, and each variant supports different features, right? And so the so the like end user get confused like which variant supports this feature, which variant supports this feature, right? So we have
Right.
basically helped the user journey through this. So let me just share my screen again and give the demo for that.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so as you can see, like we have a features website in our application in which like each car can have Skydo, Adrenox Connect, wireless charging, push button start parking sensors, airbags, right? So suppose the client is looking like the end user is looking for a sky roof feature, right? So when he clicks this page, so he has visited this page. So what we have done at the CDP, we have tracked this event, right? So if I go now to book a model, so suppose now I wanted to book XUV 700, right? Fine. So here you see like since I visited the last time, I showed the interest in the sky roof. So it has automatically showed me the variants in which the sky roof features are there, right? So there are two more variants, AX3 and AX3 and AX7, LX7. One more variant is there basically, so which do not support the sky roof feature. But here we have recommended like since you have basically looked for the sky roof feature, so these variants are only supporting this feature, sky roof. So similarly, if you want to go to Scorpio and book now, so you can see in Scorpio, the variants supported are Z6, Z8, Z8, Z8L for the sky roof feature. This will help the user to make a correct decision whenever they are like booking a vehicle for looking for the sky roof feature, so which variant basically supports that. So yeah, I think like this was one of the use cases you were looking for, right?
Yes, it is. Can you show it to me how this is implemented from the website and from the
Mm.
CDP
Yeah,
standpoint?
sure. So basically, let me take one more example with the airbags, right? So whenever like basically we are visiting airbags pages, so in the background, what we are doing is, yeah, so since now I visited the airbags page, so here you can see like I have triggered a page event, right? And in that page event, we have custom attributes which we have mapped. So here we have mapped it to the audiences, like because it is airbags as well as the Adrenox Connect. So then we have passed the audiences, right? Using this event information. Now, if I go back again to book any model, and again like SUV 700. So here you can see the message has changed. It is basically the last event what you executed. It will show here and which models like airbags, since you were looking for the airbag, so it have provided the information like MX variant have two airbags, and according to that. Similarly, if I go to Thar, yeah. So similarly, it has provided the number of variants for these model. So how we have done it in CDP. So basically, as I showed you, first request is for events, using which we are tracking the different pages visited by the end user, and in which we are like passing the audiences of that page, right? And then we have created since we wanted to display a pop-up here, not not wanted to return a dynamic JSON data. So in that case, we need to create a full stack, not a full stack experience, but a web experience. So let me just navigate to that web experience. Yeah, so as I told you, this is a web experience, not a full stack experience. So web experience basically helps us to, like if you want to have a custom HTML injected in your page, right? And that HTML can be like need to have some CSS, JavaScript, right? So in that case, you can use an full like web experience. And if I show you the experience, so here as you can see, like I have a complete HTML for the uh, model, CSS for that, JavaScript for that, as well as the API. So in the API, I will just show you like what. So basically, the API data is connected to the decision model. So from that decision model, this API data comes, and then this API data gets consumed in the HTML, CSS, or JavaScript, right? And this is like a free marker FTL language which we can use in the HTML to have a if-else logic injected in the HTML as well. And again, like whatever is returned from your API tab can be consumed in the JavaScript using the variable name. So if I search for this recommendation, yeah, so you can see like so basically all the information which is returned from the API tab is available in the variant.context. So you can use this variable to whatever data you return from the API to use in the JavaScript. Yeah. And then if I go to the decision model, yeah, here first of all, like as I told, like I'm getting the audience. Okay, so I traverse the guest sessions, and from that I get the audience, the last audience which the page which the user was visiting, got that audience. And once the audience is returned from my canvas, I have created two decision tables, one for XUV 700, one for Scorpio N. Yeah, so suppose like I have different features for Adrenox, right? Basically, as I showed you, airbags, parking sensors, push button. So what all variant supports that, what all data is there, right? So we can map it here. So similarly, we can keep this information as inside a Sitecore item, right? And pull it here and use it as a GraphQL, right? And then once the like basically the data is mapped in the decision table, then we have again the programmable, but just return the. So basically, as you can see, like Canvas, we can connect from one endpoint to other endpoint, and then again to the other endpoint. Okay, so this connectivity is like a powerful benefit, which I see whenever you are creating a decision table. So basically, you can return one data from this programmable, then this data return can be used in this decision table, and then this data return from a decision table can again be used in the programmable. So all of them can be connected to each other. So we can have a different building blocks of our this decision model to create, right? So yeah, so whatever I return from my this card type, right? So I used it in my from basically this card type I returned it from a decision model, and I can use it similarly in my uh, the final programmable, right? So we need to make sure like whatever we are returning can be like consumed whenever we want to in the decision model or in the programmable. So from this I get the dynamic JSON data. And then again, when that JSON data I have created from my CDP. So whenever you want to fetch the data from CDP, right? So you need to create a decision model, and the decision model will then be connected to your experience. Okay, so as I showed you here, so when whatever data you return from your decision model will come here, you can consume it using. There are basically multiple helper methods available, so you can see like basically inside the help, all those helper methods are available, which are there to consume the response from the decision model to your API tab. So once all the response you have consumed it, then you can use it in the JSON here, right? So once this API, so all this got executed at the server side. Now everything HTML, CSS, JavaScript will get executed at the client side, right? So, but in order to use those variables of API tab, you just need to use the API these variables and use it in your HTML, CSS, right?
Sure.
Okay, so this
Yeah,
is
but Chirag,
yeah.
yeah, so Chirag, but you are a technologist, you know. So it is
Hmm,
very easy for you to talk about the HTML, CSS, JavaScript stuff. For
hmm,
me and my marketing team, it becomes a little bit of hassle because you know what? I may have newer models coming up and
hmm,
I may have newer features coming, right? So
right.
then what becomes difficult for me is how do I modify this HTML and CSS and make those
Hmm,
new features available?
right. Yeah. So basically, so this HTML I created like custom one, but there are out of the box available as well. So if I show you here, so you can click on variant, and here you can see like all the out of the box HTML, and all those will be automatically if you want to have a site notification, or if you want to have a notification widget, alert bar, anything kind of uh, a pop-up notification or any kind of trigger you want to display on the page on any kind of event, right? So you can use this inbuilt model pop-up. But if you want to create a custom one, then you can just use the existing and then create it from that. So this will help
Okay.
you to get started with the out of the box, as well as like I have like there are around 14 out of the box, and I have created some of them, right? So we can create a template and then create variants.
Okay.
Yeah, but the
This is
crux
good to
is
know.
yeah.
Yeah, this is good to know. I have some starter points available even from an HTML standpoint. But for
Right.
example, if I have to add a new model, I think you showed in the decision model, I need to make some changes. So those decision model changes, how easy they are. Like for example, today you have it mapped for XUV700 and Scorpio N, but I
Mhm.
need it for a newer vehicle. Let's say I need it for Thar tomorrow. What do I need
Right.
to do?
Yeah, so basically, like currently, like whatever your state is, like V4. So this is in my production state. So in order to add one more variant, right? So you can create a one more from this base V4, right?
Hmm?
Let's say like V5. So this will inherit all the from the base, and it will have it. Now again, like you can create another one, right? And have a binding here. And once you are satisfied, like you can use the test canvas to test basically your user ID satisfy that particular criteria. And then you can basically you can test the draft state as well, right? And then once you're satisfied that your decision model is returning the correct data, then you can like push it to test, right? On the test, you can apply this test will be applicable on the website. But if you want to make it live, then you need to move it to production. So if you want to just test it out, your decision model is working fine, then you can be in the test state. But yeah, like once you are confident that your decision model is returning and behaving as expected, then push to production. So once you push to production, you make sure like the audience is set to 100% for this, and you can just make this as archive.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay. I think my marketing team can do this.
I
right, yeah,
think
just
Yeah, I think we have a question.
Amit has a question.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Chirag. Hi, Varun.
Hi.
Guys, I may not have followed a few things, but just out of the blue, I just got one question here. Chirag, in the demo, you showed that if I search or if I click on the feature for the airbag,
mhm,
that is going to populate some data for me.
yeah.
If you, yeah. So let's say for an instance, right now I'm searching for airbags, and
Mhm.
then I switch over to say like maybe some different features, maybe not airbags, let's say sunroof, or let's say some, not 7-seaters, but 6-seaters. Just these are just the features there, right? Or the variants. What will happen if I stay and then for right now we are seeing airbags. How frequent or when shall I be viewing the content for or the specifications for the sunroof or maybe 6-seaters?
Yeah. So as I told you, right? So what we are doing is this sunroof or whatever features we are visiting, right? So it basically depends on the user journey which he is doing, right? So right now, if I go back again, right? So if I go back to Adrenox Connect, one of the features, right? So what we have done is we have captured this as an audience for that particular user, right? So he's interested more right now in the last event looking for Adrenox, right? So if I go into back to the models page now, okay, and click on book now, right? So you can see like we have since the last tracked event was Adrenox Connect. So it gave us the features for that, which variant supported that. In the same way, like what we can do is like if the user has visited 2 times, suppose the Adrenox Connect or 2 times the what do you say like Skybags, right? So we can have a criteria like when the user is visiting the most, like suppose we are tracking the last 5 events, right? And in the last 5 events, what is the priority? Like what is the maximum number of type he's visiting? So to we can get the maximum number. Like if he has like 3 times he are visiting Skybags and 2 times Adrenox Connect, then we can get that from CDP and then push that data into that model.
Sure. So
Mm.
at the first instance, what I'm getting from you is only to capture the last event, and
Mm.
but it is not actually limiting
Yeah,
for me to stick to the last, but
yeah,
I can very well kind of customize my approach or my journey or my
exactly.
experience to the users. All right,
Right,
cool.
right.
That
Yeah,
makes
so
sense.
we can like customize up till like last events, like 10-day events. Like we want to get what he has visited in the last 10 days. According to
Mhm.
that, also we can do. Basically, it depends. Like if we are getting the last 10 days, we will be like getting it from CDP, right? So need to make sure like we are getting the like 10, 15 days or 20 days, not like 6 months or 1 year, right? It will be a huge data to compute,
Sure.
right? Yeah. So we need
So
to be like yeah, make things in mind. Yeah.
so that brings me another follow-up question on this one. So as per the best practices, what should be the time frame for which we actually have to capture the data? I mean, from the
Mhm.
marketing point of view, from the business point of view, what do you recommend? What site could recommend on this part?
Yeah, so basically, as per the, like Sitecore, like so all the data which is maintained in Sitecore in the events, it's 3 months. Okay, after 3 months, the data gets archived. Okay, in the events. So the
Makes sense.
maximum is 90 days. Okay, but yeah, like if you want to again increase the retention period, we can connect to CDP team and see like if it's possible. But the maximum retention period for the data in the like to get it from guest sessions is 90 days.
Thanks, Chirag. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I just want to make you mindful about the time. I don't know how much content you guys have. So
Yeah,
we have 15 more minutes.
yes. All right. Yeah, I think this use case is over. So, Chirag, if I can take the screen back.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And thank you for that, Himadri. Well, in the interest of time, we'll just look at, this was feature specific personalization, which we saw, wherein when somebody clicked on Skyroof and then went to a model, they were able to easily gauge which variants of that model have this feature. And this is how it was done. It was basically having some client side web experiences which were called based on the events which were fired. And eventually we had the response back with that particular personalized experience. Here, now what I really want to do is I want to have a connected experience for in a specific situation. All right. What happens is users or my customers, they go to a specific dealer and then they provide details and take a test drive of my vehicle, and later they go to the website on a laptop or a mobile phone, and they log in with the same details they have provided, like say mobile number, and they start looking at the features of that model and all. So what I really want to do is I want to provide them with a connected experience such that whenever they go to the website, the first thing I want to ask them is, hey, how was your test drive? Because they had taken a test drive. Is such a thing possible with Sitecore CDP and Personalize?
Yeah, sure. This is also like a great use case which we have seen, right? So what we have seen is like user going to a retail store, right, and then
Correct.
doing some kind of uh, inquiry, right, and then we want like when they go to back home, right, they want we want like they have some kind of personalized data displayed so that they can feel connected to our experiences, right? So let me show you how we can do that in CDP. Okay. So let me just as a user, let's log into this website.
So let's fill in some data in the, let's say I am taking a test drive. You can fill
Yeah,
in my data for that matter
sure, sure. Let me take
for
here.
taking a test drive.
Yeah.
Can you fill my test drive form, please?
Yeah, I'm just logging you once so that yeah, so that you are identified. Yeah, so you're now logged in. So now suppose you went to what do you say like do a test drive registration, right, in
Yeah.
the retailer, like in the like you went on in and like to do a test drive registration. So the person sitting at their end did your registration, right? So they asked for your name, right? And then okay, the same email ID which you have registered in the website. And then again, like you were looking for Scorpio N. So they've entered this data manually in their website. This is the data entered by the person sitting at the reception and clicked on next.
Yep.
Yeah. So now like this is they are done. Yeah, you are like your site registration is done. Now you go back home, right? And you want like you are again visiting your this Mahindra website, right? So
Correct.
let me just right. So let me just like you go back home and let me just yeah. So go back home. You log into the website. Boom. You see, now I logged in, right? And since this website didn't knew like they knew the data like you have looked for test drive because that test drive registration was done in the morning for you, and it also displays the model which you was looking for. So it displays like it basically is connected like from the store to the website. So when you came to the website, it show like you have done a test drive or for also for Scorpio and what to book now. So basically, this way, like he feel like yeah, like he visited the store in the morning. Now when he is visiting the website, now he has been seeing some customizations which can like help him to book the vehicle or increase rate on the website. Yeah,
Can you quickly show me how it is done in CDP?
sure. Yeah, so for this again, like since we wanted to have a custom pop-up, right? So again, like we wanted to have like whenever like we want to have a custom HTML displayed on the page, we always need to switch to a web experience. So I have created a web experience for that. But here I have also applied the filter. Like basically this pop-up needs to be shown only when the particular user has done the test drive. So for that, we need to have a filter condition. Okay, so inside the filter condition. Yeah, so inside a filter condition, I'm seeing basically the data. Basically, whenever like do a test drive or from the website, I store that data in the guest data extensions, and I check like whether the data extension that name is there, and if it is there, I return as true. So basically, yeah. So the criteria to filter that particular pop-up should be visible to which kind of users you can satisfy in the filter condition. right?
All right.
Yeah, and again, whatever like variant we have, right? This is the variant we have, and then again, if we go to advanced edit, first we get the data from the decision model. Decision
Decision
model,
model.
the data. Yeah. Once we get the data from the decision model, it is returned in the API tab, and then from the API tab, you can get the data in the JavaScript CSS directly. So if I just copy this model name, so I'm using it here. Yeah. So as you can see, I'm using it here. So if you are using like this kind of conventions are there, like we need to use double curly brackets when using the HTML, the variables returned from API. But if you are using CSS, you just need to give directly the variable name.
Right.
Right.
So technically speaking, my variant creation remains the same. My decision modeling also remains the same. I have just added one more thing, which is having a filter,
Right.
with which I'm able to achieve this.
Right. So yeah, so we need to make sure like the filters are there. Otherwise, what would happen that this pop-up will be visible to almost all the audience, right? So we
Every user, correct.
so this
Yeah.
condition we can, and then also we have some other features also page targeting. So if you want like this model should be only visible to particular kind of pages size like models pages, then you can have a regex here in the page targeting, and then you can specify here the condition for the script. Okay, so like we can add the condition here in the JavaScript, right?
All
Yeah,
right.
so yeah, with all connected experiences.
Nice. Well, in that case, let's see what we just saw. So we did a test drive registration, and then we were able to receive the notification on the website. So the way it moved is it basically registered something called a guest data extension, had that data in CDP, and then when the user logged into the website, we were able to trigger it based on a specific condition through Doc7 or CDP. All right, last one for the day, which is I want to maintain a score for my customers. And what I really want to do is I want to check their activity, want to store their data into CDP and personalize, and want to provide them benefits over time. So is such a thing possible with Sitecore CDP and personalize?
Right. Definitely, this is also one of the use cases which we have seen commonly. So let me just share my screen again.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah. Just something to add, like since I was logged in with the Varun at the horizontal.com, right? So all the data which got stored will be in your properties tab. And I stored the model which he was looking for test drive in the model namespace, and the model name was Scorpion. So all the data like this can be like if you want to have persistent storage for the guest data, right? So you can create the ext attributes. So this model is a additional attribute. So normally we will have all these attributes, but if you want to have custom attributes for that particular guest, so you can use the ext extensions to store that, and that will be a persistent storage. So it will not be removed after 90 days or some hour. So this will be persistent. So you can have your data which you want to have used across your website stored in the guest properties. So I stored the test drive details here. So similarly, what I want to do is like whatever the guest, like if I go to particular pages, yeah. So if I So what I want to do is like whatever the points the user is collecting whenever he is visiting a Skyroof page or any other kind of pages, right? Yeah, so here you can see like I am collecting the 20 points whenever he is visiting the Skyroof page. Similarly, if he visits some other feature page, let's say wireless charging. So again, like I'm storing the points again 15. So all these points, what I want to do is like I want to store like because these pages are being visited by users, and I want to store the track of what kind of pages and what kinds of points have been collected and what kind of engagement he's been doing in the website. So for that, what we can do is like, yeah, so once all the points are collected, so now on the session close, I have attached a custom web experience. So since the session gets closed according to the POS you are configured, so which is 20 minutes, but for now, like, let me close the session forcefully because it will get closed after 20 minutes, but let me just close the session forcefully here. Yeah. So now the session will be is closed. And if I go back to the web experience, for that, what we have created is, so now again, like for this, like since I want to store the session points in the guest, which the properties which I have, right? So for that, I have created a full stack experience, and in that, which we have created is a store session points. Yeah. So this is the experience which we have created, and inside that, which we have triggered is, so this will be triggered whenever the session is closed, right? And this is connected to a basically API. Okay, so the API is like we have hosted this API at the Azure. Okay, and this API will take some whatever the guest references and what the points are collected in the session. So whatever, like suppose in that particular session the guest collects 70 points, right? So this API will be getting triggered, and this API will update the extension attributes. So if I now quickly go to that particular guest, so right now so you see like we don't have any other custom attribute for the points, but now if I refresh this, yeah, bang. So you can see now the ext attribute have come here, an additional attribute which we have created, which stores the points of that user. So here you can see the overall whatever points he collected in the session was 55. So that's gets added. Now again, when he will visit the website, suppose 40 points are collected, then it will update it to 55 plus 40, 95, right? So this way, like we will be having the complete track end to end, whatever the user is doing and how many points he's collecting. Now, once we have those points collected, then we can use this in the batch segmentation. In the guest. Okay. Yeah. So here you will see that particular attribute, which is points collected. Right. So here you can see like whenever it's greater than whatever criteria you want to specify. Right. So here you can select those particular guests, like for whatever guests have particular 2000 points. I want to create a segment for them, right? That segment can be VIP segment. So this way you will have those VIP users which are visiting your website frequently and are more interested. Then you can send an email to them like you are looking for these kind of pages. Would you like to continue with us, right? So this way you will have a criteria. You can have a different criteria in creating a batch segmentation, and this batch segmentation can be connected to whatever endpoint you want, third party, anywhere. Yeah.
This is nice to know. All right, let's switch back to the presentation. All right, so this is what we saw, that the page event was triggered wherein the points were collected in that particular session, and then on sign out, we had a full stack experience which got triggered, which collected all the points in that particular session, and through Azure function it was stored in that particular guest profile, and then we can do best batch segmentation to utilize those points to have special offers for our customers. Well, that was it for today's session. If there are any questions, we are here to answer.
We are at the top of the hour, but I think we can stay a few more minutes if anyone has any questions. No? Okay, so I have, this was a great session. We got to see so much. Obviously, this is some of it's actually created for demo, but I felt there is when I put my architecture hat sometime, you got to see things that needs to be done in a certain way. So, for example, there is a clear separation of experience, decisioning, and data, right?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
you are using the, I think decision data should go to CDP, experience stays on the CMS side, but like, when it comes to product and making decision based on product, you need to actually go to the product store or something like, so that you can make your decision model more generic than like, using product as part of your decision logic, right? So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right there, Imadri. But we, as a part of this demo, what we wanted to also do is we wanted to show that what all is already possible with CDP and personalized, like as a tool in itself. Like if you want to do, like if you do not have a CMS, okay, but you already have a running website and you want to integrate this, CDP and personalize your user experiences. Let's say you do not have Sitecore CMS in your ecosystem. You have maybe some other CMS or no CMS at all for that matter. You have some downstream systems. You have an Azure function available somewhere which is doing something, but then still CDP and personalize can fit into that particular model because it is completely API driven, and it can also provide you experiences which are omni-channel using full stack, or if you want only website specific, then you can go ahead with web specific experiences. So the intention was to just show CDP and personalize and its power. And what we are planning, Chirag and I are planning for future is we want to actually demo something which is more so from a composable standpoint, where even Sitecore send and marketing features and marketing automation of send comes into picture. We have XM Cloud available somewhere, and then all those pieces are connected. So we're working towards that right now. But yeah, that is probably for the future. But I completely agree with you from an architectural standpoint. What you're saying is right.
Yeah, great. All right, thanks for doing this presentation. We have recorded it. Okay, we'll share it with the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And yeah, this would not have been possible without the documentation provided by Sitecore and our dear community members. They have been writing some great blogs and stuff, which has definitely helped us to move forward in this journey. And yeah, thank you all for your time and listening to us patiently. Hopefully, it added some value.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank you.
day. Bye.
Yeah. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.